And welcome in. Although it isn't breakfast with Magic Man, it is a late night snack. And welcome in everybody to the pod. I'm your host tonight, Magic Man, aka Sean Grace. For all you newcomers, welcome. For all our regulars, welcome back. And this is kind of impromptu. I want to welcome everybody in because I could use some eggs and bacon right now after some of the news we heard today. Um, this is going to be an interesting show because I haven't had a chance to really um, have protracted and basically foul, truncated words about what transpired today. But for those unfamiliar, Johan Buha basically came out today and said that the reason the secondary reason and the tertiary reason and the quaternary reason for letting go of Darvin Ham was specifically because Anthony Davis and Darvin Ham got along like Waldorf and Statler. Or if you want to use a more common everyday 21st century link, you could say they got along like Kendrick and Drake, just battling back and forth. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to Xbox, JSJ, Daniel Barry Sports. They were characters from the Muppets. And this is technology for you. The internet has been buggy all day. Yeah, I should be back. Thanks, Blue. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. But anyway, we're just going to get into it. Johan Buha basically came out today and said that the Lakers' primary reason for getting rid of Darvin Ham was that him and AD just didn't see eye to eye. And I want everybody to go back and remember what happened in October when Ham basically came out and said that there was no way in hell that they were going, there was Anthony Davis was going to shoot about 6 threes a game. And that was news to AD because there was no way he was going to be able to take away his low post offense just to appease Darvin Ham. And here it is, just a brief summation of the article. It appears that some disconnect between the Los Angeles Lakers star Anthony Davis and head coach Darvin Ham prior to Ham's firing, according to Sam Amick of The Athletic. During a Friday appearance on the Rich Eisen show, Amick revealed that it was pretty evident that AD was not on board anymore with Ham. Amick went on to say, when they chose to fire Ham, I was told that one of the many, many considerations was that it was pretty evident that AD was not on board anymore with Darvin, and they know, like everybody else, that AD has had a history of asking for trades in the past. That's how he got to the Lakers from New Orleans. Last thing they wanted was AD to be frustrated with the situation and maybe have those types of thoughts cross his mind. So basically, this is kind of an indictment on what the Lakers management has done over the past 2 seasons. Because when Pelinka came out and said that Ham was the unanimous coach, I think all of us kinda went, we're all side-eyeing Pelinka because no one believed that. No one believed that. I think he was trying to sell themselves as an organization, and especially Palinka as a general manager, that's what was going on. But does anybody really recall them interviewing any other candidates? Because I can't. I did some research going back. It was like whisper quiet, the people who they were interviewing for that job. Like there was no uh, it was all quiet on the Western Front. There was no sense that they had like a pile of interviews. And this time around, it's a little different because everybody, they've actually interviewed qualified NBA candidates at this point in time. There's actually some due diligence going on. You're right, Blue. There was no due diligence. There was none because at the time, they either they either were completely inclusive with AD and LeBron and talked themselves into the fact that they were on board with it, and or they asked AD and LeBron what they thought, and LeBron and AD gave them the PC answer, the good soldier answer. But privately, they both probably were completely confused and not happy with the situation. Um, I mean, AD hates drop coverage, first of all, and Darvin Ham was forcing AD to play drop coverage because Darvin Ham doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Couldn't find himself out of a wet paper bag. Everybody saw that little short video where he's writing up a play and the horn sounds for the timeout to be over and there's nothing on the board. He's written out nothing. So it's obvious that, he was not prepared for this situation. And the fact that Palinka, the Rambi, and Genie Bus thought it was a unanimous decision says one of two things. One, either they know nothing about the game of basketball, the way it's played in the modern day, or two, they're trying to create a situation where their poor decision making and their poor decisions reflect off the coach like a dumbass lightning rod. And that's what I think Darvin Ham was. I think he was Jeannie Buss and Rob Palinka's dumbass lightning rod that they could always chill out and know that if there was any criticism about the Lakers, it would fall to Darvin Ham before it would fall to them. But the fact is, they hired him. They put him in a position where he was the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and they need to own it. And I was speaking earlier with the group, and I basically said that when, and unfortunately, I think this is going to happen when JJ Redick is ultimately named the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Rob Pelinka is going to do everything in his power to make sure that Darvin Ham's name isn't mentioned once during that presser. I think it's going to be Pelinka's in and he's out, and he's going to let JJ Redick deal with the mob as far as Darvin Ham is concerned. Problem Child asks a great question. Is this Palinka's last year? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, PC. Here's the deal. Most general managers, most president of basketball ops or hockey ops or baseball ops, normally they get one. They get one opportunity to fire a coach. Now Palinka's fired too. So really, he should be on his last legs. Like, this should be a year where if the Lakers do not perform up to expectations, he should be fired. But again, Jeannie Buss gave Rob Pelinka an extension after the Russell Westbrook trade. She didn't even give him one after we won the title. She gave him an extension after he traded for Russell Westbrook, which shows exactly who Jeannie Buss is. She's a star fucker. That's who she is. She is a star fucker. She will not hire anybody unless it's name recognition or somebody attached to the Lakers previously. It's the worst kind of nepotism. And quite frankly, Palinka's record doesn't really um, uh, give you much confidence that he should be given any more than continuous 1 year deals. He has no philosophy. He doesn't know what team he wants to build. 1 year he wants to. 1 year he has Frank Vogel and he wants to build a big team around AD and LeBron. And the next year he wants to bring in the replacements and the geezers, and the geezer squad. And then the next year he wants to bring in big guards, small guards. Like there's no rhyme or reason to what he's doing. There's no continuity to his roster construction. Um, Heavy duty, Sean, how involved do you think Jeannie is in the coaching hiring? Heavy duty, I don't think she should be involved in the coaching decision at all. She's an owner. She's the board of governor, even though Joe doesn't like that term. That's her title. She is completely focused on. I think she should just be focused on the business side because that's where she's shown her acumen, her smarts. That's where she's a smart cookie, is the business side. She has no rhyme or reason why she should be making basketball decisions. The fact is, y- you know, I think sometimes people get this idea that a lot of opinions in a room are a good thing. I've heard this before from other people, and and it's not a political topic here. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, somebody like Donald Trump has often said, "Oh yeah, I love having 50 people in a room and having 49 different opinions." Jeannie Buss was the same way when the basketball decisions. She brought in the Rambi. She brought in uh, Jesse and Joey Buss. Then she brings in Tim Harris when Magic is running the show. So you have Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson, the Rambi, Tim Harris. What the fuck does Tim Harris know about who the basketball head coach could be? This guy is a businessman himself. He doesn't know jack shit about basketball. And yet she's listening to this clown about who the Lakers should hire or who they should sign. It's you know what, Eric? That's a good word. I would say more it's a confused front office because you don't know who's ultimately making the decisions day to day. Rob Pelinka is an insecure guy. Like often talk like when he was talking about, "Oh, where's Magic? Anyone seen Magic today?" Oh, what, you think because you show up with a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock and you're there early, that makes you competent at your job? A lot of dumbass people show up early for work. Doesn't just because you're the first person there doesn't make you the smartest person or have the best work ethic. Just means you're trying to get paid. Uh, so I'm just frustrated at this whole thing. And quite frankly, the news today wasn't surprising to me. I felt there was like this this undertow underneath the surface with Darvin Ham and AD, more so than with LeBron, because I think LeBron is more immune to say somebody who doesn't know jack shit about what they're doing on the basketball court. I think with AD, he will the one thing about AD is he will sacrifice offense for defense 100% of the time. If it takes getting 18 boards and 4 points and he protects the rim, he'll take that. It's like Magic with assists. Magic would rather have 30 assists and 2 points. AD's calling card has always been his defense, and there was just a lot of problems with Ham's X's and O's, which he doesn't know jack shit about, versus say Frank Vogel. With Frank Vogel, he could run in consecutive possessions. He could run drop coverage, he could run hybrid, he could run high and low, he could run side high and low, he could run man, he could run zone, he could run 2-3 zone, 1-3-1 zone. Frank was an encyclopedia when it came to defense, and it was easy for him to communicate with AD because AD understands defense. He understands concepts, he understands schemes beyond the concepts, and he understands where positionally where he needs to be, and he's able to make sure that everybody else is in the right spot. But when you play drop coverage, why the fuck do you have D'Angelo Russell or Gabe Vincent or fucking Austin Reeves as your drop coverage man in the middle? It made no sense. It made no sense what Darvin Ham was doing defensively. And it was a cop out when he kept saying, "Oh, well, you know something? I don't understand these Laker fans. Well, they live and die on every game." Because we're fans of our team, you bald fuck. That's why. That's why. We're fans of the team. We have been for decades, and we know what we know. We know what we know. You thought you could fool the world, Darvin. You thought you could fool LA because it's a bunch of star fuckers and people just looking at their smartphones all night. That's who attends the games. But the real fans are up in the nosebleeds in like the 300 and the 500, and they're like us. They're watching every game on playback, every game on TNT or ESPN, and there is no excuse for why your defense is so pitiful. The only excuse you have is that LeBron was 38, 39 years old. And that's a bullshit excuse because you know something? Boston has Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. Denver utilizes DeAndre Jordan at times. The Dallas Mavericks have Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Luka Doncic on defense, and they still find a way to try and utilize those guys and put them in positions to succeed. And Darvin couldn't do that because he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared to be a head coach in the NBA. And it should have been apparent from the interview. But maybe that's speaking more to the fact that Rob isn't necessarily prepared as a GM to do his job because this year this coaching search is completely different. Does everybody know that David Adelman has now going to have 2 interviews with the Los Angeles Lakers? Not 1, 2. So, the Lakers are looking at David Adelman as a potential head coach. They're looking at Chris Quinn as a potential head coach. AD has a relationship with James Borrego. Borrego, and AD go back. So I think they're interviewing him to try and appease AD's appetite for wanting a head coach who knows what the fuck he can do defensively. That's number one. That's the number one here. AD has 3 years left, potentially a fourth year with the Lakers. They need to build around him. The fact that AD now is more looked upon by the Lakers as the guy that we need to please rather than LeBron shows me that at least they're thinking with the right attitude at this point. LeBron's got 2 years left and he's gone. And if he really wants to win, if he was really about winning one more ring, he's going to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of cash for the ring. But are you gonna sacrifice the green for the gold? We're gonna find out. I'm skeptical about it, but we'll see. Uh yeah, Kurt, Adelman is on a good staff, and all his players speak to his ability to scheme his way out of a cage rather than Darvin Ham couldn't scheme his way out of a wet paper bag. Um So I would be all on board with David Adelman, especially considering the fact that he's coming from Denver. Like he knows Nikola Jokic's game inside and out, and so does AD. So if you had an Adelman with an AD, I think his lack of defensive acumen wouldn't be as blurry as it was with Ham, because Adelman's going to be in a position to actually listen to what AD has to say rather than Ham. Remember after game 2 when the Lakers blew that 20-point lead, Darvin Ham said, "Well, on this point, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with AD." So it just showed that there was no connection whatsoever. There was a complete disconnect with AD and Darvin Ham. And we're all glad Ham's gone. Shouldn't have to talk about him anymore, but he was such a fucking idiot that I needed to get some things off my chest tonight, specifically because when you have one of the best defensive player of his generation, you should be able to surround him with either other competent defenders, and let's see, you had Alex Caruso and KCP, you got rid of them. So who'd you bring in? Fucking Gabe Vincent and Cam Reddish. Pale Fox, what are Adelman's strong points? Okay, let's go through them one by one because he's got 3 really good ones. So prior to 2019, 2020, the Denver Nuggets were an average half court offense, and they were above average transition offense. When Adelman came in, what he did was he unlocked Jokic's ability in the high post rather than low post. He told Michael Malone that we need to bring Jokic further away from the basket offensively rather than more down low. If I give him more room, especially laterally, he's going to be able to find open cutters, backdoor cuts, back lobs, and he's going to bring double teams where you can either move off that with him or find open shooters. So his creativity is number one, Pale Fox. That's what separates Adelman, because Denver was an average offensive team. And as soon as he was brought in, they went from 10th offensively to 7th to 3rd. And for a time during the last 3 years, they were humming at either number one to a number five. So Adelman's creativity is number one. Number two is his communication style. Uh, Everybody from Jokic to Murray to KCP to Michael Porter Jr. have all said they love the way Adelman communicates. He's not doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, especially on the offensive side of things. He can scheme you into getting good looks. That's his MO. He's a good scheming offensive mind. He can put players in positions to succeed. Think of him more as a Vogel, but his calling card is offense rather than defense. He can run multiple offensive sets. Denver runs everything from high low pick and roll. David Adelman's father is Rick Adelman, so he's very, very, very intimate, has an intimate knowledge of the four corner offense, which LeBron would love because LeBron would basically become the Chris Webber or Brad Miller of the offense, where you're running a high-low pick and roll, and LeBron can either decide to pass or get an open shot to one of the wings. The four-corner offense was really well run, whether Adelman was in Portland or Houston. Um, that's number two. So Adelman's got history with a father who was an NBA coach. He's been with a good staff, and he has a positive communication style. And I think the third reason why he's going to be an excellent head coach is that he knows his limitations, other than Darvin Ham. Adelman knows that a big part of hiring a staff will be bringing in either a defensive minded assistant or at least somebody who's an advocate. So he doesn't have to really worry necessarily about a defensive game plan. He can focus more on the offense, and let AD and the defensive specialist design the playbook for the defense. That's not that would be the third reason. You need to involve AD in the game plan, and Ham did not do that. And quite frankly, Frank Vogel's hands were tied with trying to implement AD into the defensive playbook because he just didn't have the thoroughbreds that he had in the bubble. He had old geezers or he had really tiny guards that really couldn't match up well. And when you got into pick and roll situations or transition opportunities, AD's goose AD's goose was cooked because it was basically 5-on-1 because LeBron at that point in 22, 23 decided that defense wasn't gonna be, uh, his MO anymore. JSJ, if they could bring in Sam Cassell, that would be great. That would be a good lead assistant for him to have. Absolutely, 100%. If not, I would actually look at, uh Barrejo as well. If you could bring him in as a lead assistant, even if you interview him for the head coaching job, if you have conversations with Adelman or with Reddick about bringing in a defensive specialist. Does Pale Fox ask another great question? Does Adelman have any glaring potential weaknesses? Well, I mean, his calling card is offense, not defense, Pale. So as far as that goes, I guess his I guess if you had to look at weaknesses, one, he's never been a head coach before, but then again, a few guys haven't been and have found success. I mean, Mark Dagnall had no previous head coaching experience. Neither did Will Hardy, but both Hardy and Dagnall came from the Spurs system, and they were after a couple years, they both found success. I would look at Adelman at the same way you look at Will Hardy or Mark Dagnall. I think if you brought in some quality players, you had a good to great assistants around him. I think you can cover up those weaknesses as far as head coaching inexperience and we don't really know what his defensive philosophies are because he's not in charge of that on the Denver staff. So those probably would be 2 potential weaknesses, but then again, you don't know because we haven't seen Adelman in charge of a team yet. One thing I do know is that Adelman understands the modern game, and so if you brought him in, he would have a say in who you're drafting and why you're drafting them. And there is no doubt in my mind that if Palinka, the buses, the Ramby brought up Bronny James, he would say, "Nope, no way, no way. I can't, I can't develop this guy in the modern game. You need me to win right now and continuously, and quite frankly, putting him in a position where he's going up against grown men, he's going to fail. He's going to fail hard. The fall will be hard with him. And quite frankly, I would rather them try and find a shooter or a backup big with that 55th pick rather than Bronny James. It's just it's unreasonable. So that's why I think Adelman would be a good head coach because he'd be willing to push back against some narratives that the Lakers are used to. And not only that, it would literally be new blood in this organization. Somebody unfamiliar with the nepotism and the secrecy and the willingness to be as obtuse as possible. Like, like having that new voice, it's kind of a freshness. Actually, it would be a welcome change. The last time the Lakers did something like this, um, basically was Mike D'Antoni. I mean, and that's 12 years ago. So I'm playing devil's advocate like Adelman. Kurt, I think an offensive-minded coach is what we need. We need somebody who's creative. We need creativity. We lack we lack certain size, we lack certain skill, we lack certain depending on D'Angelo Russell, whether he comes back or not, we potentially lack shooting too. So you need an offensive coach who can squeeze out as much juice as possible from that orange. And I think it would be uplifting. Again, to reiterate, Anthony Davis is closing in on being south of 30. And offensively, the mid-range game was there for him in that Denver series. I hope that stays positive. That being said, I don't see any improvement from him offensively. If anything, a player at 30 is who he is from an offensive point of view. This will be a big, big lift for LeBron because essentially Adelman would make LeBron the de facto point guard. Darren, Darren, with all due respect, I mean, David Adelman knows what he's doing offensively. I mean, he basically, as the offensive coordinator for the Denver Nuggets, he's 9-1. Oh, sorry, 8-1 against the Lakers in the last two playoff series, man. And by the way, it wasn't defense that cost the Lakers in either of those series, Darren. It's been offense. It's been offense. The Lakers had double-digit lead in all 4 games against the Nuggets, Darren, and they stalled offensively. We were stuck in mud. 20-point lead, 12-point lead, 10-point lead, 11-point lead. Stuck in a rut. The car got stuck because LeBron and AD decided to run ISO. Let me ask you a question, Darren. You're watching the playoffs. Do you see the Denver Nuggets running a lot of ISO? Does anyone see Denver running ISO? I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. Anybody see Denver running ISO? They don't. They don't. It's a lot of off-ball movement. And if you're not moving and cutting, they immediately call timeout, and you see Adelman talking to Jokic, and then somebody who's really not doing their job, either KCP, Christian Braun, Murray. He's he's in their face, not loud, not screaming or yelling, but he's basically telling them, "You're not moving off the ball. You're not in the positions you need to be during during the sets, and this is what needs to take place." And as soon as that timeout is out, you almost instantly see a different Denver Nuggets team. They normally go on an 8-2 run, 10-4 run, 12-3 run. Like, if you watch an average game with the Denver Nuggets, as soon as they call timeout, about 3 or 4 minutes later, if it's not in the last 2 minutes of either half, you see the other team's coach immediately call a timeout because Denver's gone on a run. Darren, how bad did Murray hurt his elbow? We'll have to wait and see. And anything with like any bony prominence, man, you really have to wait until the next day for that swelling. I remember when I played hockey, um, I was a left side defenseman with a guy who could just flat out skate like the wind. And so my job was to be in the corners battling. Darren, I took a slap shot off my ankle. I thought I broke it. Like, I heard That's what I heard, and the pain I felt, I I can only describe it as it was like trying to my ankle felt like I was had a 20-pound boulder on my foot as soon as I skated back to the bench, and the coach got on my shoulders and said, "Grace, you good to go? You good to go? What's going on?" I said, "If I take this boot off, my ankle's gonna swell up to a cantaloupe." And it did the next night. It blew up. So with Murray's elbow, we'll see, man. Hopefully there's not too much swelling, but yeah, you need your elbow in basketball. You need your elbow to shoot, you need your elbow to lift, you need your elbow to extend and flex. It's necessary. So we're going to see. Um, any thoughts in game 7 tomorrow, guys? Who do you like in game 7? Slapshot is an amazing movie, Darren. Your wife's a dyke. Again, the great Paul Newman. Uh, love, love Slapshot, Darren. You like the Timberwolves, Darren? Why do you like the Timberwolves tomorrow? Tell me why. I think one thing has been clear. Anthony Edwards is almost there. I think if that guy gained 5 or 10 more pounds of muscle, not a lot, not a lot of weight. I'm talking about muscle. He gains a little bit more muscle. He's definitely unguardable. Like there's no way you're going to be able to guard him consistently. You know what, Kurt? I said it previously on the pod. I thought the Pacers and Knicks was a 7-game series. I thought after game 4, I just figured the Knicks would win game 5 and the Pacers will win game 6, and we're going to game 7, so we'll see. Um, yeah, they really miss OG and Anobi, and if Josh Hart can't go, I mean, yeah, you're still in the Garden, but if Josh Hart can't go, he's your heart and soul. All due respect to Jalen Brunson, but Josh Hart is the heart and soul of the Knicks. I think it's gonna be tough. I actually like Denver tomorrow, guys. I think, like, historically, it's difficult to win a game 7 on the road in the NBA. It's very difficult. It's the a as far as team, um, pressure, there's no bigger pressure than being a road team in the NBA in a game 7. In hockey and, baseball, you have a hot pitcher, you have a hot goalie, you could steal any game 7, quite honestly. You could steal any game 7. But in basketball, it's very, very difficult to win a game 7 on the road because the refs are just glued their whistles to the home crowd and the intensity of the moment. It's very rare a road team gets calls in a game 7. It's very rare that a road team is able to come in and just bully a home team. It's happened, but they're few and far between. I actually think this series reminds me a lot of the 08-09 Lakers Rockets semifinal where game 6 the Rockets just thrashed us. It was a shooting rampage with that little shit Aaron Brooks and a young doughy Kyle Lowry who was kind of making a name for himself at that point. And game 6 was just a flat out pancake the Rockets laid on the Lakers. But then game 7 came around and the final score, I checked the comments, guys, but I believe the final score was 118 to 78. I think it was a 40-point thrashing that we gave them. And I remember Jack at the end of Game 7 when Ron Artest was talking to him. He did this. He did the choking sign for the Rockets. Um, Kind of Jack in his prime as a front court fan. But yeah, I think it has those vibes to me. So I think the Nuggets are gonna win Game 7. Nuggets and Mavs, or the Wolves and Mavs, two different series. Um, Nobody can guard Anthony Edwards one on one. We've seen that. So it's going to take a whole team. I think that the Mavs are in a better position to guard Anthony with their defensive players than the Nuggets are, just out of depth. It's not because of talent, it's because of depth. Dallas can throw a lot of different looks and guys at Anthony Edwards, and you just got to try and make him work for his shots. Just make him work for his shots. Yeah, baseball's hey, Jakan. But yeah, baseball's a different animal, and so is hockey, as I mentioned. You get a hot goalie, you get a hot pitcher or a bullpen, and you can lock down a game 7 on the road. Basketball is a different animal. Normally, you have your superstars, and you count on your superstars to win you a series. That being said, in a game 7, normally what happens, conventional wisdom will tell you the superstars cancel each other out and you got to rely on the others. And while I think that Minnesota has more depth, they have an opportunity to create a situation where their others step up. You never know with the game 7 on the road. It could go either way. It could go either way. So my expectation is that Denver wins by at least 10 or 15. Um, uh, Ultimately, I think you know the Beards beat Peach Fuzz. The Beards normally beat the Peach Fuzz. The last time a Peach Fuzz team went to an NBA Finals was the 2012 Thunder, but it's very rare where Peach Fuzz beats the Beards. You want to win? You gotta have the Beards. That's who wins. It's the grizzled vets who win. It's not the young pups. You gotta grow up a little bit. You gotta lose. Jordan talked about that. He figured out winning by losing so much. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. You're young, you're inexperienced. Um, it's the nuances and the niche of the game that you need to get through in a pressure cooker to understand that what it takes to win. And I think that Denver has the beards and Minnesota's the young. What is peach fuzz? Peach fuzz is when you start shaving Xbox and you don't really have any hair to shave. That's what peach fuzz is. That's what I'm talking about, the difference between peach fuzz and the beards. Exactly, Jakan. Exactly. They got there, but they didn't win it. And good for them. But it's few and far between where even the peach fuzz young pups end up defeating the Grizzled Vets. I mean, it Memphis was right there. They played them straight up, but OKC just had a more athletic group than the Grizz did. Um, I'm a Spaniard. There is no peach fuzz stage. It's either shaving or beard. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're Spanish, man. Like, what do you expect? You know, a lot of. I have a Brazilian friend named Juan. Juan had a beard when we were in high school. Like when he was 15, he was shaving uh, like every day. So yeah, I mean that's just the way it is sometimes. Um, a lot of the Germans are like that too. Like my gosh. It's just certain groups, man. The Vikings grow beards, Spaniards grow beards. Um, you know, although he's Arab and he doesn't have any facial hair, Joe Soros, Joe Soros descendants, they had beards. Okay, the chat's going off for some reason. Minnesota is a mix of ages, I'd say. Well, Pale, outside of Rudy Gobert, who's a little bit older than all those cats. Who else has a beard for their team? The last guy who really had a beard for Minnesota was Nikola Pekovic. That's the last beard I remember in Minnesota. The Russian bodyguard. Oh, SGA. SGA Xbox. SGA. No, that was for Memphis, Pale Fox. That wasn't for Minnesota. That was Memphis. Conley? Sure, but I mean at this point Conley's 36. You need a little bit more jam there. Like you just can't have a couple vets. Like look who the Lakers had. Glenn Rice, Robert Ory, even though he didn't play much, you had Mitch Richmond. You had a different group there. You had a lot of vets with Shaq, Kobe, Derek Fisher. Uh, you want to throw in Devin George in there. They had a lot of young cats. They had a lot of young cats, but they had a mix of vets too. It was a different NBA too. Rick Fox, Foxy had a beard, and he's older. He's more mature. Like a lot of these guys don't have the maturity either. Like that's something I still question with Anthony Edwards. I mean, he- maybe he's finally got off the Popeyes diet and he's eating chicken and rice and broccoli for dinner now, and incorporating a clean diet into that superstar attitude. Well, we'll see. See, that's what the games are played for. I just think Denver's got a little too much in the tank. As far as the other game seven, Josh Hart and OG can't go. To me, it's a toss up, but I'll take Tibbs in a game seven in Madison Square Garden over Rick Carlisle, even though Carlisle is the champ. That's a young team too. I think Indiana's playing above their head right now, and I think game seven might be a lot like game one was for Halliburton. I mean, he's a great, great player. Have a lot of respect and confidence in abilities, but when the chips are down and you need a shot or you need somebody to make a play, he tends to do too much rather than make the simple play like Magic or Bird would. And I think he ends up getting into turnover issues, not because necessarily that the Knicks are a stout defensive team, which at times they are. It's more about Hallie's inability to just make the simple play when it counts. I agree with Darren. The Garden fans will win them to win. That is a tough environment to play in a game seven. Tough environment. It's one probably they'll be jacked. They'll be jacked because they want to at least they want to sniff at NBA finals. You get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're 4 wins away and you get the New York fans tickling a little bit down there where they haven't been tickled in about 25 years. So, and like even when somebody made a comment a week or two ago about, "Whoa, Jeff Van Gundy made it to the finals in 1999." Yeah, with Pat Riley's team, dude. Pat Riley's team. It wasn't Van Gundy's team. By the way, the only reason Van Gundy got the job was because they fired Don Nelson. When Pat Riley left, they didn't hire Jeff Van Gundy. They hired Don Nelson. So read up on your history, man. And the only reason they fired Don Nelson, and they were having a good year, by the way, was because Don Nelson told the Knicks that you should trade Patrick Ewing for Shaquille O'Neal. And Pat ran Pat ran the Knicks. Ernie Grunfeld was the GM at the time, and they had to choose either a disgruntled Pat or fire Don Nelson. And Don Nelson wasn't wrong. Don Nelson wasn't wrong. Darren, the thing about Allen that separated him from, there were three guys, right? There were three guys in the early 2000s, right? There were at the shooting guard position. There was Kobe, there was Ray Allen, there was Allen Houston. Those were the three hottest shooting guards, under the age of 25 at the time. The Pistons really didn't know what they had in Allen Houston. Go figure. The Pistons really don't know what they have in anybody other than that 5 year stretch. Hello, Gerald.
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm just rapping along with our fantastic subscriber group.
Okay. Well, to paraphrase something that Joe said the other day, thank God Joe isn't here. Man, this show is so much better without him. Oh,
Yeah,
did I say
agree.
that? Oh, did I say that loud? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
Payback. Revenge is a dish best served cold, Joe. Eat that. What's up,
Klingon
Bloodhound?
Klingon proverb. I like it, Gerald.
Oh yeah, I asked the Klingon himself if he was going to join us. He said, what was his exact words? Because I actually was looking it up, and that's how I threw you off the first time. Not a chance tonight.
Not a
So that's
chance tonight.
no,
Well,
no.
the
That's
show's a lot better without you, Sorrow.
exactly. Damn straight it is. Oh, did I say that out loud too?
I think Darren, going back to Allen Houston, what made separated him in that environment was his confidence. Because if you remember his sneakers, he actually had water on them with H2O. Like he literally called himself wet. So I mean, I loved his confidence. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out in the end, Gerald, because we all remember the Allen Houston rule as far as the NBA CBA goes.
Mhm.
But that's another story for another day. But yeah, there were three great shooting guards in the 2000s, and Kobe and Ray Allen separated themselves, and Allen Houston ended up being, really good for a little while, but he just wasn't in the same category as Ray or Kobe. Gerald, as far as the game sevens go, I mean, this is the greatest time of the year for me with everything going on.
Okay, while I've got you here, first up, who was it? Pale Fox asked about Quinn here in a second. I will say that. So touch on Quinn. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so
And then I'll talk to you about the game sevens because I have an issue with today's game. So,
okay. Yeah, so Chris Quinn, um, future head coach, no doubt about it. I'm not sure if it's gonna be with the Lakers. I just I don't have my doubts about him. I have my doubts about the Lakers having their doubts about whether or not Chris Quinn could be a head coach.
oh,
Which,
if you hear Adonis Haslam, he's
yeah,
shoe in.
yeah. Well, a Miami guy saying that, but regardless, when the Lakers said they were looking for a grinder, Chris Quinn is a grinder. He played overseas. He had a few cups of coffee in the NBA. Um, but I think one thing that separates him from other candidates is that he has worked under Eric Spoelstra. Um, there's a lineage there, there's a heritage there, there's a bloodline there that, you know, unfortunately, the product and the result of hiring a Miami coach is mixed. Fizdale really didn't work out at all off Spo's staff, Gerald, and becoming a head coach himself. Had problems in Memphis that are well documented. Became an assistant with the Lakers, was an assistant in Phoenix, Gerald. I'm not sure what he's going to do now. Um, Juwan Howard, just I don't think he'll ever be a coach in the NBA, Gerald. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. So it's mixed with hiring a Miami Heat assistant. Um, Quinn's young. He runs their defense with Spoelstra. Although Eric has said that he's basically it's 50-50 now. He basically lets Chris Quinn design a game plan and he basically advises him on what changes he would make.
Yeah,
And
he is on the staff in Brooklyn. He just got hired to the staff currently.
I did. Okay, well, good for Fizz.
No, not Fizz. Juwan Howard.
Oh, Juwan Howard. Okay,
Mhm.
well, I think that I think that's his destiny is to be a good assistant in the NBA. I wouldn't give him the keys to the car personally. That being said, with Quinn, I think eventually he will get hired as a head coach. I don't think it'll be this year.
Unless it's
It's not
Washington.
unless it's Washington. I think the the issue there again is that the responsibility, is he ready for it? And Eric Spoelstra still basically runs a lot of Miami's defensive patterns and concepts throughout the game, even though Quinn institutes a game plan. I think it'll be at least another year or so. But pardon my French, Gerald might be right. Washington could take a chance on him, especially if it's on the cheap, as we know.
Kurt's right. Fizdale was offered a job to move up into the front office, aka we don't want to pay you for doing nothing. We're going to ask you to go up to the front office.
Okay, so he would basically eat danishes and coffee all day while
Yes,
James
yes,
Jones.
yes, yeah. For James Jones, yes.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
need sugar with that cream?
Yeah, that would be Fizz's job because there's no way James Jones would allow him any opportunity to answer phone calls. Uh, so that's my opinion on Quinn. So Gerald, let's get
Yes.
your opinion on what happened tonight because that last 2 minutes was a real you know what show. And
Oh, it was, but a lot of that to blame is on OKC. They're rebounding, as Eric noted. Thank you, Eric, for stopping by. Always great to have you here. I know you're all over the Lakers podcasting scene, and yeah, I think it's a problem with the way that last 2 minutes shaked out is rebounding. I think the key that reared its ugly head for OKC. They had a lead, they choked it, but you don't let the last play come down to a replay. The game should not be decided in Secaucus. They should have just let it go. It was not an egregious foul or even a foul. If you're an Oklahoma City fan, if you're Reggae Joe, that's not a foul. If you're Frank, it's a foul. I think it's just they should have let it go. And it's just too important a game, too important a moment to be decided in Secaucus.
no,
It's just,
I
yeah,
agree. I agree, Gerald.
should just let it go.
The last 10 seconds, you just let it play out.
So unless somebody actually just like bowls over
Yeah,
someone,
unless it's completely
yeah,
egregious.
yeah,
Yes.
that was not egregious. You could. Xbox says it's a foul. I see social media; they're just ranting and raving that it's not a foul. Uh, then there's the one where it's okay. Is it a foul if they're doing a high five, or when they're doing a high five, or when they're doing an arm, when it's not arm? See, they make up these rules all along. Just like all over the place, or anytime it's convenient, they follow them. They don't follow them. Oh, it's marginal contact. Oh, it's not marginal contact. Again, the game should not be decided in Secaucus. It should have just
Mhm.
let it go. And if he made it, he made it. If he didn't, he didn't, and go from there.
Well,
Well,
Joy
I know it's
Count.
technically a foul, but it was just a weak foul. If let's say that happened to okay, who had been our in the corner for their first shot? Let's say this was LeBron taking the shot, or let's say it was LeBron guarding. Let's say it was
Mhm.
LeBron guarding, and he would we be upset right now?
Y yeah, I guess we would be
Or
because,
we'd be incensed right now that they
well,
called
sure, I mean, if somebody fouled Cam Reddish off that pass from LeBron during the Heat game, yeah, and if he got bowled over or something, yeah, we'd be pissed.
And Darren, I don't ever want to hear. It's great to have you back, Darren. So great to have you back in rotation. I never want to hear anyone say, "Well, the NBA wants this narrative. NBA wants a narrative." They wanted that narrative. They would have let it go and go to a game 7 on Monday because that's better ratings. That's more
Mhm.
money, more advertising dollars. Yeah.
And
So
something,
don't tell me
Gerald? I think it's gonna be a good hard lesson for SGA over the summer because a foul or not, I don't think he needed to jump and lunge in PJ Washington's
oh
direction.
yeah, he didn't.
You're
I think PJ
six
missed the
y-
shot.
you're 6'6". You could just run out with your hand up and live with the result. And I think he's going to be kicking himself for that because we
Subscriber, huh?
saw that
Cool.
this happened years ago between OKC and the Spurs. Manu Ginobili tried to do the same, almost the same thing, and he did bowl over James Harden off a 3-point attempt, and it cost the Spurs. So uh, it's a lesson, but I also agree with Gerald. Unless it's absolutely egregious, like a hit in the face or a hit or a finger in the eye or something, you let it go. You let these athletes play it out because that's what we want as fans. Just let it play out.
Xbox. The blatant patriotism of Australia of not playing Giddy was embarrassing.
You know what, Xbox? You
Did he
know,
play himself out of the
yeah.
rotation?
You know damn well that he doesn't fit in the concept of what they're trying to do.
He can't shoot well
He
enough,
can't
Xbox.
shoot.
But they
He
have such
can't
a, I can
shoot.
understand his point. They have such a rebounding issue. That's what cost them down the stretch was getting those rebounds, the offensive
They
rebounds
need
by Dallas.
beef. They
Yeah,
need beef
I
down
agree.
low in the worst way.
But his shooting, when you come to a playoff stretch, Xbox, yeah, I know he started all season, but in those like with the Lakers, Xbox, it's all about matchups. And as the what we saw with Dallas and OKC, the more games he went in, the more he stood out as a issue for OKC on that offensive end. I mean, they would just not guard him on Dallas.
I mean, if he could shoot, Xbox. If Giddy did learn to shoot, he'd be a taller version of Kirk Heinrich.
I mean,
And
Wallace and what Joe, they played better defense and shot better.
hmm
And Xbox, I understand SGA's game is not sexy when you shoot 20 footers and go to the free throw line. I get that. I understand, but he is a scorer. He is an elite scorer. I mean, and they were just 1 point away from taking it to the game 7. I just
absolutely,
I just would
and
have not have let Secaucus decide this game. I would have
and
let it decide on the court.
OKC is just missing that they have a core three that they're looking for that fourth guy, and it's either they were hoping it would be internally, but I think Gerald they're going to have to either trade for that fourth guy or look for them in free agency somehow because it's not Giddy. It's not Giddy. I mean, we all know
Well,
the big
Giddy is gone. Xbox. Sorry, I'll just say it. But maybe a better opportunity for him somewhere else because he is gone.
yeah.
I can guarantee you that he is gone out of there.
OKC is looking to build around SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. They're missing one. They're missing one big with a little bit of meat on his bones that can shoot, and then I think they're all set. They really don't have any glaring weaknesses if they can find that gem.
Durant is no longer an elite player. I had said on the show at one time, at a very brief point in time, when he was with the Golden State Warriors and actually won the MVP, Finals MVP over LeBron, and actually outplayed LeBron. I said for a brief moment, I think this was heading into the Olympics at that point in time.
Yes, it
Uh,
was.
he was the best player on the planet, in my opinion, for a brief moment in time. Now, he didn't sustain it, nor did he need to because he was on Gold State. But yeah, that day is come and gone. He is now a guy that can just score. He can do some other things for you, but at 35, 36 years old, 36,
Mm-hmm.
he is, Darren has it
He's,
right. Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna.
fake.
I believe he's gonna be 37.
Yeah, he's fake. He's not what he wants. LeBron is not what he once was. So Curry is not what he once was. So that is the realization that we have to have out there, that these guys that we've revered for so long are not the players that they once were. And Xbox, I get it. SGA's game is not sexy at all, but my God, he helped his team, pretty darn good this season. If you don't want to say he's an MVP, fine, no problem on that one. But I just think he is a really elite scorer.
He's a top 5 to 7 player in the NBA, despite
Well,
not
I
having
can
a
see what he's
sexy
saying about
game.
the other things, assets of his game. He's elite as far as steals, more than mainly, and again, getting to the line,
He doesn't
shooting the
need
mid
to shoot
range.
threes. He doesn't need to shoot threes. That's not his game.
Oh, he was 4 or 5 tonight.
I
So
know he was, but he doesn't need to shoot them. Normally, throughout the regular season, there were games where he did take 6 or 7. For the most part, he took 2 or 3, like barely won a quarter. He doesn't need to. He can get to the rim with ease.
how much does it hurt for us as someone who actually was talking about him not to have Derek Lively playing for the Lakers? Because tonight, plus 20s, he was the difference maker for Frank's team tonight, I believe, in my opinion, because PJ didn't bring it. Derek Jones was good. He was really good for him. I'll give him credit on that. And of course, Kyrie was okay, and Doncic was Doncic, but Derek Lively was their X factor, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
absolutely, Gerald. And
12 points, 15 rebounds, plus 26.
yeah, I just want to give a shout out to him. I know.
Xbox says you're biased.
Okay, okay,
Biased against who?
yeah.
Against Giddy?
Anyway, I just want to give. I'm not sure if you knew this, Gerald, but
Oh, for SGA. SGA, that's right.
oh, because he's from Hamilton, Ontario, and so am I. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna root for a hometown
I
kid.
think
Like,
SGA, I think he's an
it,
elite
I, ca-
scorer. I don't know what else he does at an elite level to make him a superstar, Magic Man, but I do believe he is an elite scorer. If that
Xbox, not only is he Canadian, he's from the same hometown as me. We were born
he
in
was
the
just
same
in here, right?
hospital. Yeah, we were born in the same hospital.
So he might be a little biased. All I can tell you is that he is, to me, an elite scorer. He is elite shot maker, but I don't know what else he brings at elite level to get you to that level. But I mean, my gosh, again, they were one disputed point away from getting to a seventh game in the second round. So there, I think it's found money if you're Sam Presti. To
Yes,
me, they're at least a year or two ahead of schedule where they're right now, Magic Man. Plus, as I always say, they are in the most enviable position in the NBA. If you're Reggae Joe, if you're an OKC fan, you've got to be like doing backflips down the street, down the street, just because you've got so many assets, so many things. Oh, which player do we want? Let's go out. Let's throw 10 draft picks at that guy. Let's go get Lowry. Okay, we'll just overbid on anyone else. We'll overbid on him,
hmm
or maybe him, maybe him.
hmm
They're looking so good. I just, again, they will be a top 5 team for the rest of this decade. And if they're not, there's a serious problem there.
yes, absolutely. Um, because he's uh, Sam usually finds a way. That's his calling card. He usually
Well,
finds a way.
he's not built a championship team. He's built a team that's gone to the finals, but not a championship team. So that's another step. But my God, he's got
But
every
the
opportunity to do it.
yeah, the second incarnation of a team that he's gotten to a one seed in the
Just think,
playoffs.
just imagine if the Lakers were having the same type of position that OKC does with all the young talent, with all the draft picks and all that stuff. Just imagine all the imaginary fake trades Laker Tom would be doing on his Twitter. Oh, I like this guy. I think we'll just trade 19 picks for him. He'd be going off on that like no
Yeah,
tomorrow.
he would. He would, and not to
After a lot of
mention
his code.
Gerald. Again, Sam is betting on the long road rather than the short one. At one point in time, Gerald, either the Clippers or the Heat or who else did he deal with? Was it? It's another Eastern Conference team. Is the Heat, the Clippers, and he's got picks from another Eastern Conference team. I'm trying to remember
Oh
who.
my gosh, who hasn't he gotten it from?
Yeah. Anyway, one of
Well,
those
I'll
teams.
look that up. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, one of those teams is going to eventually have a really bad year. The Clippers are really getting long in the tooth with their incarnation of the Geezer squad.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yep,
2024 pick from Houston protected 1 to 4, which didn't materialize. 2024 Utah protected 1 to 10, which
that's it.
didn't materialize. 2024 LA Clippers no protection. 2025 Houston or the Los Angeles Clippers. It's like a big old story on that one. So I mean, like if they do this, this happens, and they get this. Okay, but it's another first rounder.
Oh,
Miami.
Jade, that's easy. The Atlanta Hawks.
So next year we said that there's a good draft next year. Is that correct?
Yes,
They have they could have as many as 4 picks in next year's draft in the first round and 4 picks in the second round. Oh no, 2 picks in the second round. Sorry. 2 picks in the second round. So they could have 6 picks in next year's draft. Then in 2026, they have up to seven picks. They have 7 picks in the 2026 draft. They have 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. 7 picks right now in the 2027 draft. They have 8 picks in the 2028 draft combined between first and second. 29. Oh, dear Lord. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
hey guys, I think
12.
the word. I think the worst.
14 picks in 29 draft. In the 29 draft, they have a combined 14 picks. Magic Man.
That's crazy, Gerald. It's like the next 7, so 60 picks a draft, basically three. They have like 50 of the next 300 draft picks.
They
That's
only have 7
nuts.
picks though in 2030 though, right now.
I think
Must be
the
hard.
Atlanta Hawks in 2014, 2015 would be the worst number 1 seed.
Oh,
They
look who
won they
showed up.
they won over 60 games. Just really disappointed. Everybody, team basketball with Kyle Korver, Pero Antich, Al Horford.
But
Uh,
like I'm
that
saying, I mean,
that was Mike Budenholzer's team, by the way.
with 14 picks in 2029 alone, they have no. I mean, they just absolutely just have every opportunity to be successful for the rest of this decade, and it's not even fun. It's just amazing how well Sam Presti has set them up for success.
100%, and just think about it, Gerald. They're unfortunately, because of the way the NBA cost to loss benefit goes with drafting and developing, he might lose one or two really good players in that pipeline because he drafted 2 or 3 really great ones and had to find a way to keep them along with what else they have. Um,
So you could draft. They could literally just have a team in 2028, and then going into the 2029 season, Magic, literally draft an entire new team. Say, I'm
Yes.
done with you guys. Trade you all away, let you all go, and pick up 14 new players technically in 2029. That's just insane.
Uh, it's basically a shuffling of the deck. That's what Sam Presti could do. He could shuffle the deck of the NBA the next 5 years.
He's a Concac or Joe Klein fan, Darren, most
Joe
likely.
Klein. Joe Klein.
Those two will always be put together. They're always, since they came out the same year, they'll always
Mhm.
be put together. People confuse them as the same guy. So Ox is in the chat. Joe
Yeah.
can't be on tonight, but he could certainly be in the chat, I guess. So
Yeah, because he's by the pool enjoying a cigar.
something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, amazing game sevens tomorrow. He says he's a fan of Sean Grice's quaff. Okay.
At least I don't have to use Rogaine.
You know, I'm staying out of this conversation. I'm just staying out of it. So
Yeah, you stay out of it. It's
I
good
am
for you.
staying out of
It's
it.
good for you.
Yes.
You've got fair hair. You don't need to worry about gray hair.
It's well, too late. It's already gray. So I don't know. But yeah, two very
Yeah,
important
but see,
games.
you're like my dad and my uncle. You had red hair, Gerald. Redheads don't get gray hair. They just get fairer hair as they age. It's not
Oh,
gray. It doesn't look gray.
okay. If you say so. All right. It is what it is. It's just not what it used to be. But
Oh, that's fine, but redheads don't go gray.
okay. Two important game sevens tomorrow. So who are your
Mhm.
picks? The home teams?
I'm going with the home teams. Yeah, I'm going with the home teams. I just, you know, in a game seven in the NBA, Gerald, it's really hard to win on the road. You literally have to play a perfect game to win a game seven on the road. Um, so yeah, I'm going with Denver. I think they'll win by 10 or 15. Um, and I think the Knicks and Pacers is it just I think a lot depends on whether Josh Hart can go or not, Gerald. I'm sure he's gonna try and see what he's got with the shoot around. Um, unless he's really, really debilitated and he can't run up and down, he can't sprint. I think he's gonna try and give it a go and play. He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. Um, that being said, if Halliburton has to play out of his mind in the Garden for them to win, Gerald, and game 1 and 2 and game 5, it wasn't there for him. So I don't I think Tibbs is gonna find a way to either frustrate him or uh, create situations where there's just havoc in the paint. And he's turnover prone, Gerald. We know he hasn't learned how to make the simple play when the pressure's on, Gerald. That's what I've noticed, and I think it's gonna be tough because the Garden will be nuts.
That it will be.
This is the biggest game for the Knicks probably since I want to say 2012.
Carmelo.
Yeah. I mean it's been a while, so they're going to have a lot of energy to get out of their system, and it's hard to win in there when the crowd is nuts.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll be available to do playback. That's up to you. If you wanted me to turn it on tomorrow,
Yes, definitely.
okay, I'll turn on both games then. I'll
Who do
make
you
them
like
available.
tomorrow? Both home teams?
Yeah, both home teams. You know what? This comes from the man who said, you know, if Minnesota plays like they played, and they did refine that in game 6, they will win that game. But can I trust them at this point? with Murray looking like he's going to be healthy enough to go, yeah, I think you got to be safe and go home team.
Yeah, but Darren had an excellent point. He's like, "How is Murray's elbow?" Because
He
if
said it
you're
looked good today. That's what
yeah,
according to Mr. Malone.
we'll see. We'll see. You need your elbow to shoot, rebound, pass, and
He's their
defend.
key. He is absolutely their key. It's not Jokic. It's how Murray goes the Denver Nuggets. It's that simple. If he goes bad, you saw they almost lost to the Lakers with Murray playing bad. So
Absolutely. And Xbox, I am 39 years old.
yeah, Xbox. We said that last night. You, Xbox, and LeBron are all 39 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Along with JJ Redick. Let's hope that one
Oh,
of
you
the
mean the new coach of the Lakers?
yeah, let's hope one of those 39-year-olds isn't the head coach of the Lakers. I'd rather it be Xbox or LeBron personally.
Yeah, it's going to be him. Sorry.
I know. And thank you. We all should be sorry.
It's just not a good allotment of
But
head coaching
what?
candidates.
So, before we head out, what did you make of Sam Amick's basically breaking news, Gerald, that the Lakers were petrified that if they kept Darvin Ham for another year, at some point in time, Anthony Davis would be so disgruntled and frustrated that he would ask out.
I mean, you're always going to hear that type of stuff when you see some type of disarray or coach leaving or star pouting or somebody traded away. You always hear like those bad stories. Of course, that's talking about the stuff behind the scenes. If AD was the issue and was the major concern, all right, I could see them going ahead. It's Darvin Ham. Just Darvin Ham just couldn't get it done. If you're worried about one aspect in Anthony Davis, and that's the reason why, I don't know if that's the greatest. It should be his overall performance. And his overall performance, if you cannot see the same things we were seeing, then you've got some issues as a talent evaluator, whether it's on the coach, whether it's a talent evaluator on the court. Again, the problems with the Lakers are not just Darvin Ham. The problem with the Lakers are the talent on the court and the guy making or taking the shots and making the plans for this team. There is your problem. There has been your problem, and you've not changed the problem, so you will continue to have a problem.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Um, Looking at comments, Gerald here. 1984 was a great year in music and for the Olympics. Did you go to the LA
I
Olympics in
had the
'84, Gerald?
opportunity. I regret it to this day. I had the opportunity to and didn't. If it does come back to LA, I will not miss that opportunity again. So my dad wanted to go, and family wanted to go, and they didn't. And I just was like, I was cool bro's age.
Okay.
That's why I'm
And
trying to a
and
little
you
bit
didn't
more
wanna go
lenient,
with
cool
your
bro.
family, yeah.
I didn't think it was cool, or didn't think it was, do you want to go to this road? You guys go ahead. It's like that. Now I regret it. Now I regret it. And to tell you what, if LA comes back to LA, I ain't missing it. So I'll leave it at that.
Wasn't there a big, contest for the '84 Olympics with, like, McDonald's or
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
there was always something, yeah, going
some
on with
local chain in LA that if America won a gold medal, you got, like, a free burger or something?
there was always stuff going on like that. Yeah, yeah. And we had our, as far as tie-ins with McDonald's and all that, but you could get tickets really easily for events back then. I mean, we got it, the local grocery stores were selling them for like 10, $15 to go to whatever events. And again, coming up here, if it comes up in LA, you'll find that thing again, because who wants to go to the archery events? Who wants to go to the whatever events that they're going to have, like the skateboarding,
Pole
pole
vault,
vault,
yeah.
skateboarding, those track and field. Actually, the pole vault is guised into the track and field. So they're having several events on at the same time, so it's different. So they kind of can get you there because everybody wants to see the 100-yard dash. Oh, okay. Well, in the meantime, you'll be able to see all this other stuff. It's the events that are often to other parts of the city. Those are the ones that will probably be get cheap tickets and easy to get to and access to. And then the marathon can't stop anybody from watching the marathon. So
Who won the 1984 gold in a 100-meter jet? Was that Carl
that's
Lewis?
Carl Lewis.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mhm.
I thought so.
Oh, Mary Lorette, man. That's the thing I wanted to actually watch on TV because she was, yeah, everybody had a crush on her at that time. Mary Lorette.
Well, I mean, Gerald, the summer is creeping upon us, and after the NBA Finals and after the Stanley Cup, we've got the Euro Cup, and then we've got the Olympics. So it's going to be a busy, busy summer for Lakers fast break.
Yep. Always for us. Yep. Summer League, free agency, Olympics,
And by the way, Gerald, at some
the
point in
firing
time,
Rob Pelinka. Oh, I was just wishful thinking.
at
That's
some
it.
point in time, do you expect a replacement for Kawhi on Team USA? Because if he can't go right now, what makes anybody think he'll be able to be like ready for
I,
the Olympics when you're under contract for the Clippers? I'm guessing they don't want to see
that's why
him
you don't
play.
have Grant Hill picking the damn team. Why is Brunson not on the team
Yeah,
and
I don't
Halliburton
understand.
is?
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Yeah, Brunson will likely outplay Halliburton. Yet that guy is not going to be on the USA squad.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts. Who was the highest voting individual that was American in this particular MVP voting? Hmm, it
Anthony
was
Edwards.
it was Brunson,
Oh yeah, it was
and he's not even on the damn team. So
unbelievable. I. You know what, Jacan? I think that was a what do they call that, Gerald? A lifetime achievement award.
yeah, it's just yeah, it
It's
is.
very political,
Grant
unfortunately.
Hill being been these guys have been my buddies for so long, so many years, not evaluating it properly.
Yes.
He goes for the names, not the actual players and their skill level today. In case of Kawhi, it's health. Yeah. So Joel Embiid, do you really think Joel Embiid is going to be healthy enough to suit up for the Olympics?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And again, we saw Team USA need some size. Like every other great country has a bona fide center or two or
Yeah,
two.
I mean, you could say that, Avant, but come on. Brunson finished Brunson finished fourth in MVP voting. It's truly a spectacular player right now, playing at the highest level he might ever play in his career. How you do not choose him on the team and choose him over Halliburton is just crazy. Over Kawhi is crazy. So
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm with Gerald. I think both Kawhi and Joel Embiid should be replaced
Naughty
in
Girl says,
Team
"Thank you for
USA.
not putting Soro on tonight."
Huh? It's just
My sentiments exactly, Naughty Girl.
yeah. Joe's a curmudgeon's curmudgeon.
That he is. But yeah, Magic Man in the Evening. That's what he wanted to do. So
Hmm. Good show. Thank you everybody for showing up on this late hour, and really appreciate it. We've got the most loyal subscribers for any channel, Gerald, and I say that with all due respect to Mr. Beast, the Jim Cornette Experience.
oh, they got some loyal listeners there.
Yeah, they sure do.
Avantrez, who would you replace Embiid for? I mean, Brunson deserves the spot, but I know you'd want a big man. Let's just say Brunson's going to replace Kawhi. Okay, who would you replace? Which big man? American big man. I know you're speaking as a Canadian, but
Yeah.
American
Uh,
big man. Which you
so okay, so probably
don't
the
tell me
two.
Aiden. Please, for God's sakes, don't tell me Aiden.
No, it wouldn't be. I wasn't even thinking about AD.
Okay.
Um,
No, Aiton. Aiton. No, AD
Yeah,
is already on the team.
no, Aiton's not American, Gerald. He's from the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, remember Joe's thing is like they all okay, they're Bohemian one day, or they're American one day, Bohemian the next, or Kyle Anderson playing on the Chinese team.
Yes,
Give me a
yes.
break.
I think I think in that case there's probably three that come to mind: Walker Kessler, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. I think you'd probably select one of those three.
Walker Kessler, Evan Mobley, and who?
Jared Allen.
Would you go Derek Lively?
Ooh, okay. He's a sleeper. He's a sleeper. So there's four. Of those guys, I mean, Lively's had a great playoff. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd probably go Lively or Evan Mobley myself.
Just quoting you, Joe. Just quoting you. So that means must be you are the guy that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Just quoting you.
I'm rubber, you're glue, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Shows so much better without him.
Oh, it's been a blast.
Yes, absolutely. DeAndre Jordan, Pale Fox said, "Oh, that's funny." Chet Holmgren,
I don't think so. You
because he
need
can stretch the floor, but
think about all the centers with beef in
it's
this
rough. It's a
in the
rougher game, though. It's a much rougher game.
Sabonis, Valanciunas, Miltinov, Jokic. Then you have you're probably gonna have Mo Wagner. Like there are a lot of rough and tumble
And the
centers
refs are gonna let it
internationally.
go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Gerald.
Gonna break Chet in half. Poor kid.
Yeah. Chet's 150 pounds. There's no way he's over 200 pounds.
Yeah, those Wagner brothers, they put him in the same game. They may not make the shots, but they'll certainly make you pay
Oh
underneath.
yeah. Very physical. You
You are
know,
lucky I'm not home and drunk. Oh, XO.
and now
To
see
paraphrase Scott
because he's
Hall.
not on the show, he's trying to take over the chat.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, scary.
Yeah, the Wagner. But it's really weird how the NBA commentators, they don't say Moritz Wagner. They say Mo, but they'll say Franz Wagner instead of Frank Wagner. His name is Frank, not Franz. Anyway, getting off on
Uh,
international pronunciations
the
here.
irony in Joe's last statement.
Gerald, do you think that Team Canada can win a medal
Oh, yeah.
at the Olympics this year?
Yeah. If France, for some reason, falters, I think Canada has every shot to go ahead. They've got a really good team. Size, speed. You've got SGA with you. Yeah. He's got an
Mm.
extra few weeks now to practice. So
Yeah, Avant, his name is spelled Franz, but Franz in German is Frank, just like Moritz is Moritz, but they call him Mo.
yeah, Kurt's asking another bronze for the US.
Yeah, it all depends. You know what? I think a lot of it will depend on the group seedings. A lot's going to depend there because, you
Yike
know,
is asking if we should do another Christian Leitner,
oh,
another college player.
yeah, who would the college player be?
It's so much in flux now. I mean, Christian Leitner, he was a 4-year player coming out
So
of Duke.
who's the best? Gerald, in your opinion, who's the best big in college right now?
That's yeah, I couldn't tell you that right now.
Yeah, I think it's debatable. I don't think it. Yeah, I
Hold
don't think.
on, I'll get you the mock draft on the for 2025, and that'll tell you.
y- Yeah, I don't. I think it's debatable right now. There are a couple names I'm thinking of, but I can't really separate one or the other. Bronny will be there anyways. Yeah, he likely will be Kurt. Um, but yeah, France really disappointed at FIBA, so they're going to be
I
looking
would
for
put
some
Cooper Flag. Why not get Cooper
flag.
Flag? I was just thinking about that. He's not a big man per se, but my God, the guy's talented enough, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Sure is. I think he would. I'd rather have if I'm Team USA. I'd rather have Coop than Kawhi.
The biggest guy who would be in that range, Asa Newell, who's a high school
Also,
senior right
Newell.
now.
Okay, Newell. Okay.
You could say, oh, Booker's kid. He's 6'11".
Yep. Yep. Oh, you mean Boozer?
Boozer. I'm sorry. Booker's from Michigan State. Sorry.
Yep.
Boozer's kid is like 6'7", 6'7",
Right.
6'6", I think. Yeah. Yeah.
But you said
Um,
he's got a really nice game. He's like
yeah.
going to.
Yeah. But Xavier Booker from Michigan State, 6'11", 220 is the rated highest.
Well,
Aaron Bradshaw out of Ohio State, 7'1", 225.
oh, okay. Okay. So I mean, it's debatable about bigs, but it looks like Cooper's going to be the number one pick overall. By the way, Gerald, who do you, if you had to, if you, I know you're not a betting man, even though you're in Vegas. If you had to put it in time cap, put it in a future, who do you think has the number one pick? It selects Cooper Flag, number one,
Well, at
2025.
this rate, with Rob Pelinka managing the team,
Might be
it
the
would
Lakers.
no, because it's unprotected. Yeah, they've already mucked that up. So yeah, so I don't.
That's why New Orleans is probably looking to just defer it.
I could tell you who might pick number 5 next year. That'll be Detroit again because they'll manage to screw up their chance in the lottery.
Oh God, I really hope that young man doesn't have to go. Detroit is just brutal in the winter, Gerald,
Don't tell
especially
that
for
to
a
L. Rob.
young person.
Don't tell
It
that
is
to L. Rob.
it is brutal. Well, L. Rob knows. You know, I'm from the Great White North. He knows as well as I do. Some of the winters can be brutal.
And that's sad, JSJ. I think they are now nationally televised for now, but if Caitlin Clark is struggling the way she is, those numbers are going to go down and down and down, and the network will find alternate programming to put her on if that's the case. I mean, she is under such pressure right now to perform. I don't know if she can live up to it. It's
But
I just feel bad for her. It's
I,
Bronny James all over again.
yeah, well, come on now.
The
I think
expectations are
I
so high
know
for her, and the
they're
pressure
through
and the
the
media
roof, but
spotlight is on her.
a lot of people, for those not paying it, who really don't pay
In regards to the
attention,
media spotlight, I
yeah.
shouldn't say the
For
talent.
those who
She's much more talented as
don't pay really attention to the WNBA, the Fever had the number one pick last year, and Aaliyah Boston is disappointed more than Caitlin Clark.
Avant. I think both Denver and the Wolves would beat Dallas in a 7-game setting. I think they both go. Since they both would have the home, I think they both would win in 5.
Cooper, if I'm not mistaken, Gerald, isn't he listed as a guard?
I will check. I just
Like
had it up
he
too.
might be listed as a forward, but
I thought it
I've
was a
seen him
forward.
play. He's got a guard's game. He
Well, that's
handles
why
like a guard.
he's so revered because
I
he
think
can
he's
do so many things.
6'8", 6'9", listed
He's
as a
6'9".
forward. Yeah,
He's
listed as
6'9".
so he's listed as a forward, but he plays like a guard.
Yeah. And Boozer's kids are actually what? They're not actually till
2026.
Yeah, 2026. They may move up. So
Okay, because they're draft eligible
you
because of the
could
high
move up.
school.
Yeah, you never know. They sometimes like to move up. And your DJ Wagner is a second rounder as of now.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's a second rounder,
In
maybe
next year's draft, not this year's draft.
I thought he was coming out this year.
He's listed on NBADraft.net. Let me see right now if that's the case. But I'm telling you, he's on mock drafts for next year.
Okay, because I saw that
he's going to school. He's visiting he's
he's transferring out from Kentucky.
Yeah, he's visiting Arkansas this weekend.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah, so he's not.
No wonder.
He's not looking at the draft.
No wonder.
Oh, it's
Okay.
on my birthday. What do you know?
No wonder. That's a little. Well, Eventually, he will get drafted. Maybe like his dad, he'll grandfather, excuse me, he'll end up on the Lakers next year.
No avant. Celtics will not win. If the Celtics match up against Minnesota or Denver, they would lose, especially without Porzingis. They would lose to Minnesota or Denver. That I could tell you. Denver, Boston is the third best team right now in the NBA.
And the Mavs play better with Derek Lively on the court rather than Daniel Gafford.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but that was a pretty good pickup too.
I think
that
the
they-
Celtics would beat Boston, but I don't think the Celtics would beat Minnesota or Denver. I just don't think that they would have a chance against those two teams. Minnesota, you see, when they click, when they're on, when they've got the swarming defense, when they guard the perimeter, they guard it better than anyone else. Who would you all rather draft, Max Christie's brother or LeBron's son? Is there a none of the above in that statement as well that I could go ahead and check off? Maybe.
Could we draft maybe a Ghanaian or a Togo center that will never play in the NBA?
Oh, from the NBA's the new the academy that they have in Africa.
Yes.
Might have a better chance of developing a player there. Again, Bronny he's just not an NBA player at this point in time. I don't know why we're playing this charade. ESPN is only perpetuating this, and that's really making me, I don't say it's upset, but disappointed. It's just, okay, why are you moving this kid up on your mock draft? You're just making yourself look stupid. It's just, the kid is just not ready to play.
No,
and may never be ready to play.
Gerald, I'm going to put this on. Maybe you can blow it up a little bit so everybody can read it. But I sent Gerald and Nick and Joe and Henry. What a scout!
We read it tonight. Yeah,
we
that was
did.
you. I thought that was Lake or Nick.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Oh, well then thank you, Sean. Yeah, because I read it to everyone last night on last night's show about how the anonymous scouts talking to Marche Spears about how he is not an NBA player.
Yeah, he's not ready. It's pretty evident.
And Bloodhound, he was holding up the Ohio State jersey and all that. I think that's just stupid. Okay, I think that's just absolutely new coach.
Bronny was?
Yeah, Bronny was. Like
that makes.
But he was hit last weekend and all the I'm heading to Chicago and all that. Stopped by Ohio State, got Ohio State and all that because he's in the transfer portal. Again, Boogie Ellis gone. Isaiah Collier gone. The starting position for shooting guard is all yours. Musselman comes in there, wants to make a good impression. Good coach, really good, solid college coach. Would center a offense around Bronny James, and Bronny is just not wise enough to see it. And it's very disappointing. Very disappointing. If I was his dad, I would just say, you know what, you're not ready, son. Go back to USC, fill it up, average 15 to 20 points. Then we'll talk. Which you can't do because he'll get plenty of shots at USC if he stayed.
When's has the deadline already passed to make your decision on whether or not you're going to be just?
No,
and
it's the 28th, I think.
Okay.
I think it's the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. It's the first for the Lakers on the draft pick, but yeah, it's the 28th for Bronny. So.
Okay. Well, you know something. It may go against conventional wisdom, but I think he should really, as a family, they should really take some time here and explore the idea that before the 28th comes and goes, that you decide to either go back. Is he eligible to go back to USC, Gerald, or does he have to enter the draft?
Or just because you go in the transfer portal doesn't mean does not mean you have. No, just because
it has to be approved by the NCAA, right?
It has to be assigned committal to that new team. So right now he could stay at USC if he wants.
He should, because I think it's a huge gamble going to the NBA, and might be a little bit of a gamble
Avant,
putting your
actually,
name in
his
the
best
transfer
move
portal.
would be actually going in the draft 2 years from now. Not
Mhm.
not this year. He's not ready. Not next year, because it's like you said, Avant. It's the deepest
I would
draft
be a
in a long
junior
time.
and go into the draft, Gerald.
Or even wait playing full 4 years, because he is just not anywhere near ready. 6'1" shooting guard who can't shoot.
Yep, and we see what happens to 6'1" shooting guards that can't shoot.
Uh,
You don't
it's what it
yeah,
is.
Gabe Vincent is the exception to the rule about getting paid being a 6'1" guard that can't shoot.
And I can't get too much worried about it because he is LeBron James Jr. And I'm sure he's got enough NLI money on his own to not even have to worry about whatever his dad has and worry about, how much he'll get from the inheritance. So it's just, yeah, he'll be fine for the rest of his life. So, yeah.
But, again,
Yeah, there you
you
go, Bloodhound. Yeah, does take it. Maybe that will create something different where it will create a two-way player or an undrafted player that gets a better shot with a better foundation team than what would have been drafted at 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Maybe that will change. Like Colin Castleton. If Colin Castleton succeeds, maybe it was best for him to go undrafted. That's how the
Mhm,
Lakers got him. We haven't seen that
mhm.
yet, but I'm just saying that's what it. Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves went undrafted. That was actually the best thing for him, because who knows what would have happened had he been drafted late in the second round by whatever team.
Yeah, see, and it just goes to show you size helps too. Kenyon Martin's son, um, not not the fleet of foot, but because he's 6'9" and can jump like a pogo stick,
Yep.
he's managed to just stick it out a little bit
I
and
still think Bryce is better. What I've
mhm.
seen in other high school
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
He's going to be taller. He already
Mhm,
is taller.
mhm.
I think he's a little bit more dynamic, but that's just me.
But I think don't you think it's really ambitious of LeBron to think he could play with Bryce too, Gerald? Because Bryce is what, about 3 years away minimum.
He could do it. He could do it if he wanted to. God, if he's still playing at the level he can now at times, come on. Yeah, but I thought it was at least 6'3", but my gosh, kids at that age,
Grow
you know,
like crazy, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
I know they can afford food, but Gerald, you were a teenager once. Teenage boys just can eat you out of house and home.
no, don't underestimate teenage girls. I have two of them, and that's
All
all.
right, fair enough, fair enough.
I don't know where they put it. I think I gain all the weight that they eat. So
Fair enough, but I will say it is hard feeding a teenage child.
that's for sure.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. It's 5 to 2 here on the East Coast.
That's funny. LeBron will play with Zuri in the WNBA.
What would I don't know, Kurt. I don't know. You like I don't think so, right?
Let me set up the playback so you guys can just hit run and get that set up. So I'm setting the playback for both games, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
apparently the next one up in the WNBA is Zach Randolph's daughter.
Mm.
She's been, you know, her and Gianna were dominating those kids. Um, it looks like Zach's daughter's going to be the next up. I
What?
heard she's looking at USC, so
Woo, there we go. Um, to play with Juju. Well,
mhm.
Juju will probably be out WNBA pretty soon. But I'm just gonna say right now, Magic Man, just hit the go live. You, Nick, or Joe, hit the go live button. But the events are already there, already set up for both tomorrow. I maybe there for the 5 o'clock one. Tomorrow in the afternoon, I probably won't be, but I will be somehow monitoring it somehow. But yes, yeah, just hit go live and enjoy the game. So I'll let Nick know that you're going to be there on playback. So
All right, Gerald. Will we be having a show tomorrow? Tonight?
tomorrow, later tonight,
Yeah.
that's up to Mr. Grumpy himself. So if you and Mr. Grumpy want to do one later tonight, sure, why not? So,
Mr. Crank Anchor himself.
yeah, absolutely. Mr. Joe.
By the way, he'd be perfect for that show, both receiving a prank and getting one.
Thank you, Magic Man, for the magic show. There you go, the magic show. Yes, Magic Man in the evening. Doesn't have, well, it's actually is morning for you. So yeah, I put
It
on
is technically it is the morning. Yeah.
yes. So yeah, that's I put on that video for you.
Thank
All
you very
right,
much.
but yeah, this was Magic Man. Great to have him there. Cool, bro. Showing up late. Demerits to you, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday morning here. It'll be Sunday morning on the West Coast. Sunday morning is crispy bacon.
Oh my God.
Sunday morning is for crispy bacon.
No worries, cool, bro. All good. Just enjoy. We're heading on out though. We've been here for almost 2 hours, or he's been here for almost 2 hours. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning for him. So let's go ahead, or no, 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
2 o'clock in the morning for him. So
Appreciate y'all. Enjoy the Sunday morning. Chris Christopherson, shout out. Sunday morning, come down. Great song, Gerald. I'm going to be wearing my cleanest dirty shirt tomorrow morning with crispy bacon and coffee. Hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday morning. We'll see you Sunday evening.
or actually
Hopefully,
on playback though. You're going to be
and
on for the games.
playback. Be on playback. We'll be back Sunday evening with the show. I don't care if Joe shows up or not. And thank you very much, everybody. Good night.